It all for the competitors. This is Daphne Jongejans of the Netherlands. She's a student at the University of Miami going into her junior year.
Same dive as Michelle, not as good an entry, but much higher up in the air. And the judges look at 4 different elements. They take the approach, which you see here, how high they go into the air, and then whether they do the proper number of somersaults. That's 2.5, just right. But the entry had splash, and that counts against her.
7s and 7.5s for Jongejans. This is one of her best competitions.
She's diving great. We see Michelle and Daphne sitting in the hot water, warming up a little bit, getting ready.
Getting ready for round 7. This is the women's springboard final, and through 6 rounds of the diving competition, our leader continues to be Gao Min of China. And China, in fact, has won 2. Now Daphne Jongejans. She has been offered modeling contracts and had to turn them down because of NCAA eligibility reasons. Again, she goes to the University of Miami, although she's diving for the Netherlands.
That's the reverse direction. We've seen last round the front direction. We just saw Michelle go back. This is reverse. It looks just like the back in the air, but you start with the front approach. She'll reverse direction somersault back towards the diving board. 2.5 rotations, way up in the air, makes the dive easily. Great extension on the finish, just a little too much splash.
7 5s, even an 8 from the finish judge, Daphne Jongejans of the Netherlands.
That'll keep her well up in the standings.
So we have 2 weekends of coverage here in Spain. Now Daphne Jongejans of the Netherlands.
She didn't quite make the rotation there. That'll take off a lot for that. We described the dive as an inward 2.5 somersault. She must complete all 2.5 somersaults.
You would expect how much to be taken away from?
They're going to start by taking at least 3 and then see what else happens. So she's probably going to get 6, 6.5 on this dive.
That is what it is. 6.5s for Jongejans here. Gao Min, our leader. Li Yiwai of China is second. Bobkova of the Soviet Union is third. Now Daphne Jongejans, what is she thinking? She's really never been in this particular situation this high. In fact, at the NCAAs this year, representing Miami, she was 4th in the springboard. That was won by Megan Nair, who you earlier mentioned from Florida. What is going through her mind?
Well, Daphne was 4th in the preliminaries in the Olympics in Los Angeles, finished 10th in the finals. So she knows what it's like to be there in a big competition, but she hasn't been able to hold on. She's choked a little bit. Well, here she's holding on, but it's going to be close. She and Mitchell have each had a mediocre dive. That's 2.5 somersaults backwards. You can see she'll just make the extension out before she hits the water. Not nearly as high as the 2 Chinese girls have been diving.
And the judges agree, all from 6 to 7.5. And like Mitchell, she will not gain. Well, perhaps that left an opening now for Daphne Jongejans of the Netherlands. She could move right past Mitchell and have an outside shot at a bronze with a big effort here.
If she does a great dive and Bobkova is mediocre, she can pass her for the bronze. She got it straight on the finish, but that was pretty wobbly in the air. Fortunately, the judges see for the last thing, the finish, and that'll score okay. Watch in the air as she does the twisting part. Looks like she just kind of wobbles around. She's a little bent, but manages to be straight on the finish. Probably good enough for 7, 7.5.
Pretty good marks. 7s and 7.5s, as you said.
It's a good dive because she was able to straighten it out at the finish. She's put the pressure on Bobkova now for that medal shot.
Well, I have a feeling we'll hear more about Daphne Jongejans in the future, whether it's in diving or modeling. Fine showing here in the women's springboard final, totally unexpected.
And her best finish ever.
Bring back the gold.
Chinese had great support all afternoon.
So, Min will win the gold medal. Li Yiwai of China takes the silver, and Bobkova of the Soviet Union will win the bronze medal. Jongejans of the Netherlands was fourth. The Americans finished 7th and 8th.